Okay, hello grade 11s. Let's quickly do this. This is now for exercise 8. So, this one, the question says, solve for x and illustrate your answer on a number line. Make a rough sketch of a parabola for each question to help you find the answer. All right. Firstly, we're going to start by recognizing that these are differences of squares, right? So we can recognize that this is going to be x minus 4, x plus 4, right, is smaller than 0. So here we already have our critical values. Our crit, I'm just going to write crit val. So you're going to write x is equal to 4 or x equals to negative 4. Now, if we were to draw a rough sketch of a parabola, it would look like this. We see that there's a value here in the beginning, which is positive, which means this is going to be a smiley face. So it's going to look something like this, guys. And here it will be negative 16. I know this is not up to scale at all, but it's a, they said rough sketch, and I'm taking it literally. So this is then going to be negative 4. This is going to be positive 4. Okay, so from that, they are asking, where is this expression smaller than 0? Obviously, it's going to be around here, right? Where it's under the number line. But I want you guys to first focus on the following. So we know what our critical values is. So from there, we're going to write, okay, we make a number line like this. Very nice, very nice. Then you're going to put in, this is negative 4. This is positive 4. Now, I want you to go take another color. You're going to take your calculator. I'm not sure where mine is, but you're going to take your calculator. You're going to fill in like x squared minus 16. But in the place of x, you're going to put any value that's smaller than negative 4. So let's say negative 5. Then you're going to see that you're going to get a positive value. Anything between these two numbers, so it can be negative 3, it can be 0, it can be 3, you're going to get a negative value. Anything bigger than 4, you're going to get a positive value. So in essence, what they want us to say is that everything between these two open dots is going to be included into what they are asking. They're asking everything that's between, or everything that's smaller than 0 for this expression. Now, had you go and put that in your calculator, you would find exactly this. Anything smaller than negative 4 gives you a positive number. Anything between negative 4 and positive 4 will give you a negative number. And everything above 4 will give you positive. But now, there's no equal sign in there. Look at this. If there's no equal sign there, it means they're not asking that you need to include your critical values. That means you're going to exclude them, which means you need an open circle, because that means they're asking, where is it smaller than 4? Obviously, smaller than 0. Obviously, here you can see on that dot over there, it's definitely equal to 0, but that's not what they asked. They asked for smaller than 0. So this exact dot here is not included. So it needs to be an open dot like that, okay, because it's not included. Now, had you gone and written this in any format for me, you could have written, okay, x is going to be between negative 4 and 4. Or you could have written x is an element of negative 4 to positive 4, both excluded. Included, if it was a sign like this, it would have square brackets, right? But it doesn't, because the 4s don't include the solution to this problem. So either this could have been your final answer or this, it doesn't matter. I think for inequalities, stick to your answer being an inequality. So stick to this format, okay? So obviously I want you guys to notice that when it's a continuous line like this, your answer is going to look continuous like this. Where in this case, let's say your line is going to look like this, close bracket here, everything outside there. Then it's going to be like maybe x is smaller than 5 or x is bigger bigger than 5. Okay, but if you have a continuous line, you're going to have a continuous inequality. So like this one here, where you can see here we have a continuous line. It's not like this way and this way. I hope that makes sense to you guys. Okay, so this is the final answer that I want for that question. Let's move on to this one. I'm just going to wipe out this parabola here because I want to draw the one for question 2 here as well. Okay, so we know this is also difference of squares, so this can be written as x minus 5, x plus 5. Now they're asking for bigger or equal to 0. Okay, this one was smaller, so we were looking for the negative values here. Now this one is bigger or equal to, so we are looking for the positive values. So now we know that our critical values is positive 5 and negative 5. Now go draw your number line. Okay, wait. First, let's go draw it on a parabola. This is going to look something like this, where your values here is negative 5. Here it's positive 5. Here it's going to be negative 25. Okay. So now they're asking where is it bigger or equal to 0. So we can see here it's going to be equal to 0, the x's, and everything above that. So everything outside of positive 5, everything outside of the negative 5. Okay, so everything inside here is excluded. Let me rather do that in blue so you can see what's included in it. So everything outside of positive 5 is included. Everything outside of negative 5 is included, but everything in between here, not included. Everything here is excluded. Okay, so that's what I meant with the continuous line and the non-continuous line. Okay, so now that we have our number line here, we're drawing negative 5 here. We're writing positive 5 here. Make your nice arrows to show that it goes on forever. Then take your calculator, everything smaller than 5. So let's take negative 6, for example. Had you gone and filled it in there, you would have gotten a positive value. Anything here, whether that be 0, whether that be 1, 2, negative 1, negative 4, anything between these two numbers would have given you a negative number. And everything past this would have given you a positive number. I implore you guys, take your calculator, prove it to yourself. Fill in this equation here, this expression here. Then in your place of your x, you fill in these values and see what you get, whether you get positive or negative, and you'll see within these borders on exactly 5 and negative 5, you're going to get the value of 0 and 0. But everywhere else, you're going to get positive and negative values. And I want you to indicate that for yourself. Okay, let me just wipe out all of this stuff that I've done now. Ooh. Okay, let's just circle that. So now we can go and write our final answer, that everything that is bigger or equal to 25, to 0, will be outside and equal to negative 5, outside and equal to positive 5. So make a closed dot because it's included, because that 0 is included, and everything outside, and everything outside. So now in the end, your answer is going to look like x is smaller than negative 5, smaller or equal to negative 5, or x is bigger or equal to positive 5. And that's your final answer. Now, I hope you see what I mean with the difference of, like, if you have one continuous line, like in question 1, you have one continuous inequality. Whereas if you have two different lines, like in this question, you have two different inequalities, okay, as an answer. Now let's move on to question 3 and 4. This will also be your corrections for this exercise, then we don't have to worry about it. Okay, so now this one, we still see these are exactly differences of squares. So this can be written as 2x minus 3, 2x plus 3, smaller than 0. So now, if we went and looked for our critical values, this would be, let's just make, I'm going to do this in another color so that you can see what I mean. Let me do it in green rather. like a dark green, so you can see. So we're going to say 2x minus 3 is equal to 0. 2x plus 3 is equal to 0. Now we're going to find that 2x is equal to 3 or 2x is equal to negative 3. But now we want to get x alone, so x is equal to 3 over 2 or x is equal to negative 3 over 2. Okay, now let's just go and draw that on a parabola quickly. So if this is, let's say this is 1, this is 2, this is 1, this is 2. 3 over 2 is most actually 1.5, right? And this one is going to be like this. So let's say somewhere over here is negative 9. This is 1. Then this will be 3 over 2, which is 1.5. This will be negative 3 over 2. And then our parabola is going to look something like this. Okay? Something like that. So it's going to cross at negative 3 over 2 and 3 over 2, and your y-intercept will be negative 9. Okay, now that we have that, let's go and draw our number line. I'm running out of space here. Okay, so if this is negative 3 over 2, this is positive 3 over 2, they are asking, let's just look, where is it smaller than 0? So obviously it's going to be everything here, like from here, here, everything is included there. Okay, so if you go and fill in anything smaller than 1.5, like let's say you fill in negative 2, you're going to find that it's going to be a positive number. If you fill in anything between these lines here, like whether that be 1 or 0, 1 or 0, or even, let's say, 1 comma 0 2, like something smaller than this number here, you will get a negative number. And anything bigger than 1.5, you're going to get another positive number. So with that, I'm just going to wipe because I want some space here for my final answer. Sorry, okay. With that knowledge, we know that they're asking for only smaller than, not smaller and equal to. So that would mean open bracket, open circle, and then you just connect your 2. So that means that everything between these two values here would be included in this inequality. So to write a final answer, I'm going to write, okay, negative 3 over 2 is smaller than x, and x is also smaller than 3 over 2. So 3 over 2 is bigger than x, but negative 3 over 2 is smaller than x. Okay, so that means that everything between those two numbers is included in the answer that we want. Okay, let me wipe this. Feel free to pause and just copy whatever you want, as long as you guys understand what's going on. Okay, let's just do this one. This one's very easy. It's also differences of squares, x minus 1, x plus 1, and they are asking for smaller or equal to 0. Now this is very easy. We can go and draw it on a nice number line here on a parabola. Let's say this is 1, this is negative 1, this is 1, and then here is, let's say, negative 1 as well. So we can see that our y-intercept will be negative 1, which is here, and our two x-intercepts will be 1 and negative 1. So this is a nice one. Easy. Okay, so now they're asking where is it smaller or equal to 0? So let's go and zoom in again. Where is it going to be smaller or equal to 0? So obviously they're on 1, on exactly 1, it's equal to 0. On exactly negative 1, it's equal to 0. So those are going to be closed lines, and everything in between 1 and negative 1 will be included. Oops, I don't know what just happened. Okay. So now we can draw a number line. So if this is negative 1, if this is 1. Now, anything smaller than negative 1, like let's say maybe negative 2, type it into your calculator, you're going to get a positive value. Anything bigger than 1, like let's say positive 2, you're going to get a positive value. Anything between here, you're going to get negative. So whether that be 0, whether that be 0, 5, whether that be negative 0, 5, you're going to get a negative. Anything between 1 and negative 1. Okay. So now let's go and write our final answer. Oh, first let's draw our graphic representation. So they say smaller or equal to. So we have closed dots here, closed dots, because 0 is included. Now we can go and write our final answer. So negative 1 is smaller or equal to x, and positive 1 is bigger or equal to x. One continuous inequality. Okay. So these are your corrections for exercise number 8. Now let's move on to exercise number 9. Now this one, they're asking, state the values of x for which the expression is not real. Now, if you go back to what we've done previously in the year, you would have seen this note that I had you guys write. If you ever have a negative under a square root, the answer is not real. Remember, it's by the same thing that you wrote that if you have something over 0, your answer is undefined. Remember that. That's important to know. So now we can go and set up our own equality because we know that everything inside, let me just wipe it. We know that everything inside this bracket, in the square root, needs to be a positive number. So we can write, where is x squared minus 16 gonna be bigger or equal? Oh, they're asking for not real. Where is everything inside here gonna be smaller than 0? Okay, because we know if something is smaller than 0, it's negative. And that's when it's not real. And that's what they're asking for. We need to find the values of x for which this expression here is not real. So let's go and find that. And it's not real when it's negative, when it's smaller than 0. So now we just, oh, yes, like, sorry, guys. Get so angry. Okay, so now we need to find the values for which x squared minus 16 is smaller than 0. You're going to do this in exactly the same way. Now we have differences of squared. This is going to be x minus 4, x plus 4, smaller than 0. We have our critical values. It's positive 4 and negative 4. I'm not even going to do that all the way like I did with the previous question because we now know how to do it. Now let's say negative 4 is here, positive 4 is here. You don't have to draw this now because they're just asking you to state the values of x, which we're going to do. I just want to show you guys graphically. So obviously they want to know where it's going to be smaller than x. Now you fill this stuff into your calculator and you're going to see that obviously these are going to be open circles because they're not asking where is it equal to 0. They're asking where is it smaller than 0. And you're going to find that it's going to be between these two values of negative 4 and positive 4. So then in the end, you're going to write that negative 4 is smaller than x and x is smaller than positive 4. That's the answer that I want to see from you guys. Because you can think about it just like logically. If I fill 4 into x here, 4 squared, okay, no, not 4. Let's say 3 because the 4 is not included. So let's say I fill 3 into that spot over there. Obviously, 3 squared is going to be 9. 9 minus 16 is going to give you negative 7, I think. Negative 7 is under a square root. That is not real. You can just like obviously use your logic, guys. If you use, let's say 2, that's going to be 2 squared, which is 4 minus 16. It's going to give you negative 12 under a square root. Not real. So for anything between negative 4 and 4, you'll have a non-real value for x. Just note that I am saying it's between negative 4 and 4. They are not included because then if I have 4 here, it's going to give me a 0 under a square root. The square root of 0 is just 0. That is not undefined or real or anything. That's a normal question that exists. So 0 is not included in this question. We want only anything bigger than negative 4 or smaller than 4, not 4 or negative 4 included. Okay, let's do the next question. Now we need to find for where 4x, did I write this thing down correctly? Let me just double check. Sorry, guys. Oh, it's 4x squared. Okay, perfect. I almost got it right. So now we know that this is still differences of squares. It's going to be 2x minus 3, 2x plus 3. So we've done this in the previous question. We can sort of see where our critical values are from this one over here, this one over here. So we know that x is going to be negative between 1.5 and negative 1.5 and 1.5. So we can somewhat just go and write it. I'll draw a number line for you. Oops, don't know what that was. I'll draw a number line for you anyway, just for those of you who didn't understand yet. So obviously we know that our critical values is negative 3 over 2 and 3 over 2. Now, they want to know where this is negative. So let's set up another, let me just move this downwards. They want to know where this is negative. So we're going to say, where is 2x minus 3, 2x plus 3, where is that smaller than 0? So obviously now go type it into your calculator. Anything here will give you positive, anything here will give you negative, anything here will give you a positive. So now open bracket, line, open bracket. So now we know that we still get a straight line. Thank you very much. We can make it one long inequality. So negative 3 over 2, not including smaller than x, and x is smaller than 3 over 2, not including. Okay, because if we have 0 in there, it's still real. Okay, I hope this makes sense, guys. Please let me know. If it doesn't, we can talk about it tomorrow in class. Okay, please watch it tonight. If you know your friend is not going to watch it, tell them watch it, because this is basically like all the homework answers. Okay, good luck with your homework, and please have it done for me tomorrow so we can move on.